I've got the book The Dark by Lemony Snicket, and I'm going to show you exactly how to read this book with your child so that you get the most out of reading comprehension. The themes in this book are, there's a lot of them, facing and confronting and overcoming fears, proactively, in a proactive way. The personification of the unknown. So they personify the dark here. So we all know that when we personify an object or something that we're afraid of, personifying it makes it more approachable. The necessity of the dark and that contrast. Comfort of reality, and facing fear with curiosity. All right, the first question. Okay, right here, central idea. What problem is Laszlo facing? Very straightforward here. He's afraid of the dark. He has anxiety about this. And he does not want to confront it. So he's afraid of it, he has anxiety about it, and he doesn't want to confront it. The dark. Next question, key detail. What details help us understand the dark that Laszlo is scared of? So after these few pages, it's kind of described like the behavior of the dark, where it lives, where it hides, where it goes. So it's starting to because it's talking about behavior, that's kind of like personifying the dark, which of course is going to make it more approachable, okay? It's not this unknown thing out there. Well, it kind of is, but we're still describing it and talking about it as if it's like a thing that exists and not just like a scary unknown idea. All right, jumping to the next page, central idea. How does Laszlo propose to resolve his problem? Okay, so here he says, hi, dark. So every morning he goes to the basement. Well, he goes to the door of the basement. He opens the door and he says hello to the dark. So he says hi. So he is confronting it, like from a distance. He is saying hi. He is personifying it. He is making it as approachable as he possibly can. Okay, but like this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to approach it. He's trying to confront it proactively in an approachable way, just saying hi. But right now that's how Laszlo is approaching his fear of the dark. He's just saying hi to it every morning. And that's it. All right, until one night, the dark comes for him. Kind of scary right there. Next question, character relationships. Do you think the dark will make things better or worse for Laszlo? So here, of course, the dark is now having a conversation with Laszlo. It's telling him like, come this way, come through the house, behind that door, down that hallway, not over there, over here. So it's kind of scary, like the dark is leading him around his house in the dark. We don't realize yet, like this is of course in Laszlo's imagination that he's like personifying the dark and talking to it. But he is kind of confronting it. Again, we have like, he's making it approachable. Is he like super comfortable with it? No, but is he still curious about it? Yes. And I guess like at this point, you don't know which way the book is gonna go. Is the dark going to make things better for Laszlo, or is the dark going to make things worse for Laszlo? It's kind of up in the air at this point because it definitely has kind of a creepy feel to it, but in a way that is kind of like grounding the book in reality, because like the dark is kind of scary. And there is like honesty in that. So it's like recognizing like the honesty and like, yes, the dark is scary. There is truth to that. And I guess it's like a little empowering to like recognize and affirm that like, yes, the dark is a scary thing. Like it's just being honest about fear in the dark, because it does have like a very creepy tone here, which goes along with the dark. All right, jumping forward, is leading him downstairs. It's very creepy, leading him into the basement, even creepier. Come closer, even creepier. So all of this is kind of like confirming like, yes, the dark is a scary thing. Like, yes, it is a creepy thing. And that's okay. It's being very honest about like everybody's opinion of the dark. But we're still facing it, we're still overcoming it, and we're still talking with the dark. Like that whole personification thing is still happening. All right, even closer, central idea question. What message, moral lesson does the author want the reader to take away? Okay, so this whole part here, it kind of is like an aside from the story. It's not really part of the plot, but what it explains is the necessity of the dark. Dark is part of reality. The fear of the dark is part of reality. It's very honest. It's very fine. It's fine. But it basically explains without the dark, you wouldn't have, daylight. If it weren't dark in your window at night, then you wouldn't be able to see through your window during the day. If your closet weren't a dark place, then you wouldn't have anywhere to put things. So it's kind of like taking, just bringing it, it's just part of reality. It just is. It's not good or bad, but it's part of reality. And if the dark didn't exist, then other things wouldn't exist. So that's what this does. It just explains the necessity of the dark and how it's just a part of reality. All right, so now we know this whole time he's been going for light bulbs, which I think is pretty interesting. And brings us to the next question, analyze point of view. What did the character know that we as readers did not? So the illustration shows you what happened. His nightlight burnt out. And we as the reader, we didn't know that until right now. We just thought the dark woke him up and the dark was talking him around the house, telling him to go this way and that. When in reality, the whole time, Laszlo was just going to the drawer in the basement where he knew the light bulbs were, so he could put a light bulb in his nightlight because the light bulb burnt out. So Laszlo knew that. We didn't until now. So this is kind of the opposite of dramatic irony, because in this situation, the characters knew something that we didn't. We didn't know until now that this entire time Laszlo's just been going for a light bulb. We thought the dark was just leading him around through the house in a really creepy way. But no, he was actually just going for a light bulb. And that was the whole problem. The dark came to him. What he meant was, my nightlight burnt out and I had to get a light bulb in the middle of the night. That's what it actually meant. All right, jumping to this question, central idea. What did Laszlo learn by the end of the story? Okay, so he overcame his fear in a proactive way. Yes, granted, he was put in a situation where he had to go replace that light bulb and he had to walk through a dark house to do it, but he did it. And the whole time he was just talking to the dark as if it were a person right there. Again, bringing on the idea that when you personify something that you're afraid of, it makes it more approachable. And also just something to be more curious about. It's always a good idea to approach fears more with curiosity than anxiety, ask questions about it. So he overcame that and he still personifies the dark. He still thinks of the dark as a thing that exists, not just he still personifies the dark. But he learned that he's not afraid of it, and dark never bothered him again. And that is the last question. So this is actually a really good book about facing and overcoming fears. Especially because being afraid of the dark is such a common one. So I hope you can check out The Dark by Lemony Snicket and ask some of these questions when you read the book with your child.